I'm Mr. MegaManFan, and today on the PC Engine Files, we're taking a look at Dragon's Curse. This may already be familiar to some of you, and I'm about to explain why, and then once I do, we can get into the fun of this game, and it is definitely fun. Now, you wouldn't know it just from looking at the title, but this is actually a sequel to Wonder Boy in Monsterland, which is in itself a sequel to Wonder Boy, and therein more explanation is required. You see, back in 1986, Wonder Boy was a game developed by Escape, now known as the West 1-Bit Entertainment, and published by Sega. And therein, there was a diverging branching of paths because licensing arrangements were, how shall I say, convoluted. They wanted to publish Wonder Boy on the NES and the Famicom, but Sega retained the Wonder Boy trademark and they weren't about to let that be on the NES. So Hudson Soft teamed up with Escape and they're like, okay, we'll just remake this. We'll use the exact same formula from Wonder Boy, but we'll remake all of the characters to look like something different and call it something different. And that started the Adventure Island series. So, common lineage in Wonder Boy, but two completely divergent series of games. In one direction went Adventure Island with Master Higgins, and in the other went Wonder Boy. Now, Adventure Island stuck largely to the same script with minor iterations through 4 different NES games, but basically, you're always running from left to right, trying to keep your health up as it constantly depletes, and occasionally defeat bosses and find hidden areas. Whereas the Wonder Boy series kept the side-scrolling, but went from just being a straight platformer to having more role-playing game elements, where you had to collect coins, buy items, upgrade your armor, your weapons, and fight progressively different bosses with different sets of abilities. And once you have the ultimate set of armor and weapons, you can progress to the final boss of the game. So by now, many of you have ascertained the fact that this is Wonder Boy 3: The Dragon's Trap from Sega Master System, but due to the game's popularity, it also got a port to the TurboGrafx/PC engine called Dragon's Curse, and they did some things that are better and some things that I'm not such a fan of. For one, I would say that the controls are much sharper in the Sega Master System version, which may seem strange to some of you given that the Sega Master System's D-pad is quite notorious, but I find it's actually easier to play it than on a TurboGrafx D-pad, or in this case, using a Genesis 6-button controller with OpenEMU to record this footage. Either way, I think I just got used to the Sega Master System D-pad because I played it so much as a kid. I had a friend, Sir Crunch, who you may know from his YouTube channel and occasional appearances here on my channel. He loaned me his Sega Master System for an entire summer, so I played the heck out of Wonder Boy 3, and I can hum almost all of those tunes from memory. It's just something about the sound chip in the Sega Master System sounds so much more robust than this version, and probably sounds even better if you played it in Japan, considering they had an FM synthesizer. So I'm just going to right out say from the very beginning that when it comes to the sound, I prefer the Sega Master System over this one. I also think the color palette looks a little strange. Not bad per se, but like your dragon transformation when you get your first curse here, you look a weird stain of yellow that you don't on the Sega Master System. And it seems like they tried to change the plot here and take it away from the Wonder Boy series. Oh no, they got you. You've been cursed by the dragons and now you're a gruesome creature. You have no choice but to search out the powerful antidote of the Salamander Cross. Say, what now? The what now? Your success depends on acquiring the legendary armor and arsenal to assist you in battle against the 5 beastly brutes. You are a desperado in your fight to return your good looks and save the world from the clutches of these dragons. Quite frankly, that's just cheese. It's stinky Limburger cheese. I know that games are fantastical to begin with, but Wonder Boy 3, the Dragon's Trap explanation was so much better than that. Oh boy. But saves are a huge plus to this version, because in the Sega Master System version, you had to write down passwords to save your progress, and it was very long and tedious to enter them. But in Dragon's Curse, you can actually save the data if you have the ability with your PC Engine or TurboGrafx-16 to record saves, and of course emulators automatically have that ability. You can save a backup of your current progress and then continue on from there. So you can only do that when you're in town at a save point. That pig at the beginning who owns a save hotel or something, but you go and visit him, and he also gives you the password just in case you don't have the ability to save. But trust me, save. For example, I'm skipping ahead a few minutes in my footage here to when I got back to town having earned up some gold, and I'm going to buy some equipment with that gold, a mithril shield and a mithril armor, and they will give me much greater defense for playing the game, which means that enemies won't take as much of your heart that shows your health status when you take a hit from them. And of course, as you progress through the game, you can add additional hearts to your life bar, just like The Legend of Zelda. But you go into this menu with your run button, and you select the armor and the shield, and then you're better equipped to go on those fights. But once you've bought those weapons and armors and items to help you save, you spend a lot of time earning up the gold to buy them, and you don't want to just lose them if you happen to die and have to recollect everything all over again, all the gold, all the items. Save. Save. Another little tip I'd like to offer you, which applies to not only the Sega Master System and the TurboGrafx, but the remake by Lizard Cube, is that you can farm coins in certain areas. You see, right now I don't have enough for this goblin male. Much as I might want it, I can't afford it, and he's not going to give me a loan to make up the difference, so the only thing I can do is earn up additional coins. But when you go into these areas, the monsters respawn when you go back out the door, so all you have to do is kill the enemies over and over again, collect the coins each time you kill them, and eventually, if you keep going in and out the door and respawning all the monsters, you can earn enough coins to get whatever item that you want. Now, obviously, if the item costs thousands of coins, as some of the items do later in the game, you're not getting very far at 5 or 10 coins each enemy you kill. That's incredibly tedious. But for some of these lower cost items, farming coins is a very good way to go, especially if you can buy a much more powerful armor that will give you much more defense and get you much further in the game, because you'll be able to absorb more hits without dying. Oh, and incidentally, you do get one blue potion at the beginning of the game, and it can resurrect your life. If you run out of health, it will restore you to, well, when you have one heart, it'll restore you to full health. When you have multiple hearts, it may not restore all of the hearts, but it will restore some or most of them. So you can also, in certain shops, buy more blue potions, and if you die, there's a roulette wheel that will give you a random 1 in 5 chance of getting another blue potion for your next run through the game. So, pro tips from somebody who has spent a lot of time playing Wonder Boy 3 in multiple iterations. My favorite is still the Sega Master System, and I think Lizard Cube feels the same way, because when you switch back and forth between the updated graphics and sound and the classic graphics and sound, they don't refer back to the TurboGrafx 16 version, they refer back to the Sega Master System version. So that's what they based it on, and that's clearly the one that they're the most fond of. So am I, but Dragon's Curse is a fine PC Engine game. I like the Sega Master System version just a little bit better, but I think the save files really do add something, and I think this is one of the most fun platforming / role-playing games that you can play on a PC Engine or a TurboGrafx 16, so don't be shy of it. Even if you have to play it off an EverDrive, I would say go out of your way to do that, especially if you don't own a Sega Master System to begin with. You can, of course, always do things like emulation, as I'm doing here to demonstrate it, but I'm just saying it's a worthwhile use of your time. You will not regret playing this game. The only thing you might regret is paying the prices that the TurboGrafx 16 version goes for, $81.90 loose, $105 complete. Probably get an EverDrive for less than that. I'm Mr. MegaManFan, and as always, thank you for watching.